I'm Mr. Mega Man fan. Welcome back to Genesis Does, and today we're looking at Target Earth, or as it's better known in other territories, Assault Suit Leynos. That's an important point we'll get back to in a minute. But as you can see, DreamWorks was the publisher on this game. It was developed by Messiah and also released in other territories by Rising Star Games. This was exclusive to Genesis and Mega Drive until it came to Virtual Console in 2007 and then got a remake on PlayStation 4 in 2015. But in its era, this was Genesis Does What Nintendo Don't. My copy is complete. And if you remember the Fire Shark episode, this cartridge looks almost the same. Obviously, a standard label for DreamWorks when they published in the United States, plain white with black text. The manual is also complete, as you can see here. I know that Ryan likes to chide me for not reading the instructions, so I actually looked at the controls here. A, B, and C, designed for a 3-button controller. This tells you how to use your weapons, how to switch weapons, how to maneuver, and even tells you the different options that you can collect. It also tells you to know your enemies and names them all. Look at this one down here, Zootfael. I guess I have to know that's a Zootfael. Anyway, here's another look at the cartridge. Again, very similar to the one for Fire Shark from Total Plan. And it looks like a normal cartridge on the back. Let's go ahead and put it in the analog Mega SG, and we will get to playing this game, and then I will explain why the Assault Suit Leynos thing matters. So a while back, I took a look at games that came out on the Mega Drive Mini in other territories that didn't come out on the Genesis Mini in the United States, and one of those games was Assault Suit Leynos, which is described here on Wikipedia. It is the year 2201, and expanding technologies have given man the power to live anywhere in space. Amidst this backdrop, the story starts with a war between Earth and a cyborg army returning from the farthest reaches of space. In the game's early stages, the nature or purpose of these cybernetic adversaries named Kron is unknown. However, it is later revealed that the Kron are survivors of a failed space expedition sent by Earth 100 years earlier. The Earth Defense League fights to defend Earth, naturally. The heart of the defensive movement is the Assault Suit, a 12-foot armored battle machine with awesome fighting capabilities. The player is Rex, an Assault Suit Wing Commander and Master of Assault Suit Combat. The battle begins on Ganymede, but shifts to battles in space, on the Earth, and inside enemy outposts. Now, the reason this matters is simple. When I played the Mega Drive minigames, I chose Assault Suit Leynos and put it on an SD card and put it inside my jailbroken analog Mega SG because I was like, oh, here's a game we didn't get. And I played it and I was like, this is pretty fun. I don't know why they couldn't localize it and put it on a cartridge in North America because it's not that hard to get into. Little did I realize I already had the localized version of it. I went through my collection looking for games to play on Genesis Does. I pulled out this copy of Target Earth, put it in the analog Mega SG, started playing, and I was like, oh crap, this is Assault Suit Leynos. And I looked it up on Wikipedia. Sure enough, it's the exact same game. Target Earth is the localized North American version of Assault Suit Leynos. The release dates are as follows. It came out in Japan on March 16th, 1990. At an unknown date in 1990 after that, the localized version came to North America. It came to Wii Virtual Console only in Japan on October 30th, 2007. The PlayStation 4 version came out December 2015 in Japan and July 14th, 2016 in North America and Europe. Then apparently it also got a Microsoft Windows port shortly afterwards in North America on August 30th, 2016, European Union territory August 30th, 2016. So this game has had many re-releases over the years, but in its heyday, in its time, in 1990 when it first arrived, it was indeed exclusive to Genesis and Mega Drive, and it was over 15 years later, 17 to be precise, before it even showed up on Wii Virtual Console. So it never got a physical release on anything other than Sega Genesis. As mentioned, the main character is Rex, but there's also a supporting cast in this game. This, for being an action shooting run and gun style game, this actually got more of a plot and more, I don't know, more scripting would be the word for it than other games. It's got the Assault Suit Wing Chief Commander, who's never named, but he is the commander. There's also a captain that appears in several stages, apparently 6 through 8. Rex has a girlfriend named Liana. She supplies him with weapons and constantly fears for his safety. There's also Rance Colzeus, Rex's recurring nemesis, the commander of Kron's attack suit wing. And there's an enemy commander, the overlord of all of Kron's forces, who knows the true secret of Kron. Now, as you use your assault suit to traverse the surface of Ganymede, we'll not debate whether that would actually be possible in real Ganymede in orbit around Jupiter. I don't know the gravitational constant or the atmospheric conditions, but we'll just take their word for it that you could have an assault suit that walks around on the surface of Ganymede firing weapons. We'll just assume that's actually possible. And as you do, you go up and down this jagged terrain, and you've got a selection of weapons, as you can see here from the loadout screen. And they give you one goal in this opening stage. There's a gigantic enemy warship approaching that's going to destroy your home base. You have to take it out before it takes you out. And you'll notice that you've got supporting troops. The ones that are green are the enemy assaults, and you take those out. But the other ones are your friendlies, and thankfully you can't hurt the blue friendlies with your own fire. They're invulnerable to it, or your bullets fly right by them because you're not targeting them, so whatever. The blue ships in the air, however, are dropping bombs on you, so you do want to hit those. And now we get the warning that the enemy ship has broken through the D line. And what it does is it gives you how many miles it is from your home base. But that's essentially just a countdown clock. It could just say 50 seconds to impact or whatever. But they chose to use the term miles. And of course you have to survive long enough to get to the enemy ship to destroy it. And then you have to survive the enemy ship while it's trying to destroy you. And that took me several different attempts. This game has a little bit of a Halo thing going to it. Now that's a weird comparison, I know, but hear me out. Because you can take damage up to a certain point and then you're dead. But if you go long enough without getting hit, your mech suit starts to recover, like it can repair itself. So I feel that is a fair comparison because the same thing happens in Halo when you're fighting the Covenant. If you get hit, your suit loses a little bit of its ability to absorb impact. But if you hide behind a rocky outpost or you destroy the enemy and there are no other enemies nearby, your suit starts to regain its Halo protective abilities. So I think you can't necessarily call this a spiritual predecessor or necessarily call Halo a spiritual successor, because obviously this is 2D and that's 3D. But you can see, the idea was at least formulated way before Halo. Mech suits, human-piloted mech suits, or humans inside self-recovering mechanical ships that you can attack with. Stumbling over my words a little bit, but I hope you get the gist of what I'm trying to say. And there are different enemy types, as the manual noted. That one is more of an assault tank. It takes more than a few hits to take it out. There's those ships that drop bombs on you. Those do take off your health if you get hit by the bomb bullets. Sometimes the amount of enemies on the screen can become a lot to deal with, so you kind of just have to stand in one place like this and aim your gun and take out a few for a while, and then try to save yourself up for the enemy ship when it arrives. And as you can see, it's approaching right now. 32, 31, 30. Like I said, it's really more of a countdown clock than the actual miles it is from your base, but I appreciate the creativity of the whole thing. And now my shots are going to start hitting the enemy ship, and I'm switching to my spread gun using the C button. Again, Ryan, I did read the manual this time, and I'm taking some damage, but I'm also doing a lot of damage thanks to the spread gun, so the enemy ship is toast. And we will get a congratulatory message here saying, good job, you've destroyed the warship, but the enemy troops are regrouping, so that is the end of this mission. And then you get your bonus weapons, which is just your reward for successfully completing a mission. It gives you more options in your loadout menu. Now you're given a whole new mission, which is this base is just under too much attack. You cannot survive the constant onslaught of enemies, so we're just going to abandon the base and regroup on Earth. So select your weapons, get them from the loadout screen, add them to your option menu, and then proceed forward to the base on the other side. And you just side scroll from left to right, taking out enemies as you go. But the interesting thing here is you actually get support from the base. A ship flies along and says, do you want some covering fire to protect you while you're attempting to reach the shuttle to get off and regroup at Earth? And you're like, hell yeah, I'll take some covering support fire, please. And they actually work with you. Which again, I hate to say there's a Halo comparison here, but that's like having the Marines help you when you're in your mech suit. You know, you're like, okay, I can take damage, I can be a one-man killing machine, but it's nice to have these other guys like laying down cover fire and helping me while I attack the Covenant. That's useful. I don't have to do it all by myself. There's actually a team supporting me. I don't mean to keep making these Halo comparisons, but it just comes to me naturally as I'm playing this game, which should also tell you why I think Target Earth is probably an underrated gem, or even Assault Suit Leynos if you play it. Is it Leynos? Linus? I don't know. But if you played the original version without the subtitles, you could still get through it. But once it's converted to English, it is absolutely 100% right on the nose for any gamer. Which makes me wonder, what does this game go for nowadays? Because, as I said, I think this is an underappreciated game, and I think more people ought to be playing it. So let's find out if it's actually affordable, because you never know. What does price charting say? Not the best, not the worst. A loose copy of it goes for $16. A complete copy, like the one I showed off at the beginning, goes for $33. If you could find it brand new, unused, never opened, that goes for a whopping $83. So I'd say a loose copy is not unobtainable, but if you chose to play it on a hacked Genesis Mini, or use an SD card on your Analog Mega SG if you've jailbroken that, or if you tried it out in emulation first on your computer using something like OpenEMU or OpenEMU. I don't like saying emu because it sounds like Emu from whatever, Liberty Insurance or whoever that is, so I say emu, but I guess emu would probably be more appropriate because it's emulation. I'm getting on a tangent here. Blah, 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 blah. Nobody cares about that. All right, let's move on. Now we've got an outer space mission, which is kind of like asteroids in that you've got some momentum as you're going through space. You don't just stop on a dime. And then these enemies circle around you. And I'm like, okay, I'm trying to figure out which weapon in my loadout is the best for dealing with this many enemies on the screen. And I finally switched to one that I thought was at least a little bit helpful, but I'd already taken too much of a pounding and hadn't recovered my health, so game over, man. But you know what? It's a game worth playing more than once. I don't necessarily recommend buying a complete box copy at that price, but like I said, try it in emulation. Try it on your Genesis Mini if you've hacked it to accept other games. Do whatever you can. I'm Mr. MegaManFan, and thanks for watching.